Hello everyone, thanks for coming outside with me today. Today I would like to tackle kind of a sobering topic, which is counterfeit broadheads. And it's a thing that has affected every major manufacturer. Probably the most commonly known is the Rage Hypodermic. That thing is plastered everywhere, but it's affected other companies like G5, Ramcat, and my personal favorite, Magnus. There's a lot of back and forth on whether buying counterfeit broadheads is a good idea, but I've actually put my own money down. Got a package shipped directly from China, came my mailbox today. I can already tell these are not the real thing because I know, because it came in a bubble envelope and it feels like it's wrapped in bubble wrap. So I wanted to dive into these the moment they showed up today, but I decided instead to open them up here in this video. You get a first-hand look. Package, yeah. American-made products, American quality control does not look like this. Let's be ironic and let's use a real American-made product to open a non-American-made product. Ooh, look how sharp that is. If you're ever on eBay and Amazon and you think to yourself, wow, that price is too good to be true, guess what? It is. 3 broadheads in a little Ziploc bag wrapped in bubble wrap. I bought 4-blade Magnus Stinger knockoffs, but this is directed for everybody that is affected by counterfeit broadheads, not just Magnus. So before I get into the nuts and bolts of comparing a real product versus a fake one, let me just kind of get on my soapbox here for a second and talk about purchasing counterfeit broadheads. So whether it's a big corporation like Faraday, which owns Rage and Muzzy and a lot of other major manufacturers in the archery industry, or if it's a small-time deal like Magnus or somebody else, anytime that you purchase a non-American made product, you are directly hurting the major manufacturer that's here in the United States. Sure, the cost is totally different. I totally understand that. But you're talking cheaper products, aluminum and steel. You're talking lack of quality control. And you're talking that there are people here in the United States that are doing those jobs, that are doing the quality control. There are engineers here in the United States that are making metals with a particular Rockwell hardness, that are having the blades ground at a particular angle so they're razor sharp, and so on and so forth. So sure, it might look really nice to pick up a dozen Rage Hypodermics for $12 off of eBay with a case, but it's not helping. It's not helping our industry, which is already a small industry as it is. It's not helping our industry, and it's not helping the people here with real American jobs that are doing and working with a real American product. So the two major factors, if you see them not in the original packaging, and if you see a price that's too good to be true for a number of the particular product that you know is outlandish, then it's definitely not the American-made product, and you're not going to get the same quality, and you're definitely, ultimately, in the woods, probably not going to have the same results. So let's come over to the table and compare the Chinese version to the American Great Bend, Kansas version here. We'll go and talk through about the nuts and bolts of what you might see with the aluminum ferrule and a steel blade. So right out of the package, let's take a look at these two heads. Here on the left we have the Chinese version, and here on the right we have the genuine made in Great Bend, Kansas Magnus Stinger 4-blade. The very first immediate thing that I see is that the set screw that holds the blade in place, the Magnus, is always going to be black, where in this case it is clearly just left the stainless. I can tell right off the bat that this is not, at least definitely not a original set screw if it was a replacement, but there's several other key factors I see. I notice that the ferrule on the Chinese version comes to a very distinct point, whereas the Magnus is much more of a blunt point on the ferrule itself. Now, it's still a 2-piece ferrule holding the bleeder blade in place. Now, another thing I can see here is that the edge bevel on the Chinese, if I reflect it off the light here, you can see how much glare there is off the edge, and I can see how much glare there is off the Magnus head. And I can see the Magnus head has a much shorter amount of glare, if you will, which pertains to a different blade angle, and I can automatically tell that this one is definitely the genuine head. Along with that, I can see the grind on the tip, and it definitely has a longer tip to it than the knockoff from China. Flipping the broadhead over, you can see on the inside and definitely on the back side of the blade here these scratches, which are definitely something you do not see on an American-made quality thing. Whether it's a Magnus, whether it's a Muzzy, whether it's a Rage, you don't see that type of quality control issue on a genuine head than you do on a knockoff version. Now on to a straightness test. Here we have the Chinese model of the Magnus Stinger 100 grain, and you'll be able to watch the tip of this broadhead here and see how much wobble, if any, it does have. So let's see how this does here. Let's just do a couple of slow spins first. Well, we can already see there's going to be a little bit of wobble in that already. Let's get a little faster. Oh yeah. All kinds of tolerance issue there. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to screw that onto the end of my arrow and send it flying down range. That is definitely not within the tightness tolerance that I would perceive to be passable for something underneath my arrow. So let's screw on the Magnus and see how it does. Also, the thing to note, you can hear that rattle. I didn't notice it till I took it off the spinner, but the bleeder blade on this, you can't feel it, but I can, and it moves. It moves within the ferrule. It is certainly not up to a tolerance that I would accept. There it goes. Here's the stinger. Let's watch its tip. Definitely a lot straighter than the Chinese one. Very nice. I think I'd screw that onto the end of my arrows any day. So it's just getting ready here to do a sharpness test, see if we could do a little bit of shaving of hair off my arm. And I picked up this Chinese head here, and I was able to look, and I just caught a whole bunch of glances with the light there, and I can just see so many nicks and dings in the blade already. Even before I've even shot it at anything. And then also I was working my hand down the length of the blade, and the tip is rolled over. Now, unfortunately, my camera lens is not strong enough, powerful enough to really show it to you here, but the tip is already curled over. It's complete. To the naked eye, it's incredibly obvious when you hold it up to your face. That's what happens when you get a soft steel made with a non-American quality controlled product there, or at least when it comes to a broadhead. Look at all the nicks in the blades. And it hasn't even been shot yet. You can see how it's catching some light there on the very point there. It's definitely pulling some of my skin off, that's for sure. Compare that to a Magnus head. Now this one has been stuck in the foam of my quiver, so there's a little bit of gunk on it. You don't see the nicks or the dings in any of the blades. And the tip is certainly not curled over. So let's see if we can get a little bit of hair off. This is the Magnus Stinger. 100 grain, 4-blade. It's taking a few hairs off there. Like I said, it's been stuck in the foam of my broadhead box. I'd probably want to touch it up a little bit. But being a good quality steel, it would touch up real easily, and that's broadhead's ready for the wood. A little bald spot to prove it. Come down a little bit. Here's the Chinese head. I can just feel it gliding on my skin. Caught a hair there. I think the results are pretty obvious though. I got a little bit of razor burn up here. Not so much down here. So I don't care what broadhead you shoot, whether it's a fixed blade or whether it's mechanical, whether it's a rocket, a Schwacker, a Magnus, a Muzzy, a Rage, I don't care. Get out and enjoy bow hunting. But what I do care about, what I'm very passionate about, is people will spend thousands of dollars on bows and sights and arrows and rests and tree stands and on-X maps to get the perfect spot, the perfect location. Then all of a sudden you screw a $2 broadhead. Well, I got a dozen of them on eBay for 20 bucks. Oh, why? Why would you do that? People fight all the time about buying American-made cars, Ford and Chevy, and then they go and they shoot a Chinese broadhead. I don't grasp that concept. If you want to invest in bow hunting, invest in the people that are here, that understand bow hunters. They get what it means to sit in a tree stand all day, freeze your tail off, and know that that broadhead has to be perfect and ready to go when you are. So do yourself a favor, do the companies a favor, and invest in an American-made product. product. Now, even if it's not 100% made in the United States, at least invest in a product that is quality controlled here in the United States, which is something that is directly shipped from overseas is not getting. I know for me, I'm going to stick with Magnus products. They're an American-made product. They're something I have full faith in and full trust in, but you have faith in whatever your product is that's quality controlled here in the United States, made in the United States, be it a bow, a tree stand, a broadhead, or an arrow. So that's all for this video. If you have any blowback, feedback, or just general questions for me, hit me up in the links below. I got my email, Facebook, Instagram. You can even drop a comment here on YouTube. Hope you're able to get outside, enjoy the sport of archery, enjoy the sport of archery hunting with American-made broadheads if you so choose. Definitely enjoy God's beautiful creation, and we'll get to see you next time.